I've been drinking my own urine for 17 years.
In this episode, we talk about how to get 10 times the results while working half the time, a crazy weekend I had spending with Chase Hughes, a brainwashing and human behavior expert who trained US intelligence agencies, and this week's Guru of the Week who slaps his own beans to stay healthy. So put on your seatbelts, let's get into it. You ever thought about this? No matter how much you're working, you could work half the time and get 10 times the result.
100%.
This is what's called the extreme Pareto principle. And okay. I think we're all paying like a fiat tax on our productivity. So here's what I mean.
Okay.
I know creators who work nonstop on making videos. They work 40 to 60 hours a week. They do everything themselves. And they could achieve the same thing in a fraction of the time if they hired an editor, if they delegated operations, and if they just let go of some perfectionism in their videos. But what's holding them back from getting more done? It's they pay the fiat tax of productivity. They're afraid to hire someone. They think, but what if they don't make the videos that well? And they're afraid of letting go of certain like perfectionistic tendencies in their videos so they can just put out more. And it's like, you know what? A lot of the time that you spend editing probably doesn't matter that much. You can just make it simpler and put out more. The same thing you see in business owners. And I think you have seen this a lot too. They create a website, a logo, fancy strategy, a cool marketing plan. They want to make the product perfect before going to market. But the best thing you can do is just go knock on a door and get proof of concept. There's so many startups out there who get millions of dollars in funding. They have the fancy logo and designer and everything and have this great plan. And they spend 2 years making the product. And then they go knock on a door.
Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants it. And you could have saved 2 years by just knocking on a door, saying, do you want this? Give me your money. And nobody wants it. You would have saved 2 years, right? And I think we do this in every area of our life, where people will go to the gym, make more money, they put on tons of makeup, they optimize their Instagram profile.
Nobody wants them?
And they all do this. Yeah, sure. In your case, you don't do any of it, and nobody wants you. So at least you save time.
Makes sense.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the segment. That's it. Great. We'll learn something next one. No, but people do all this because they want to get a partner in dating, right?
Okay.
Let me go to the gym. Let me make more money. Let me do all these things. Optimize my profile instead of just going and saying hi to that person that they find attractive. Especially men. I think men are under the delusion nowadays that they go to the gym, they do everything to become more attractive, but when the girl walks down the street and they're like, oh, that's her, I really like her, they don't say hi.
You had me and then you lost me.
All right.
You had me in the beginning because I agree with you 100%. For business owners, I can't tell you how many times somebody will come to me like, yeah, man, I have this business idea. I'm going to get business cards. I'm going to make my website. I'm going to get my LLC. And then I'm like, horrible. Because I get it because I was that person. I did the same thing. I'm like, first get somebody to buy it. And then once you realize somebody actually wants what you have, then you can focus on the other things. But I think it's just a waste of time because you're scared of, like you said, you're just scared of putting yourself out there or trying something new. For dating, while I agree, you should just go say hi, I think there is a level of preparation that you need to have to be more suitable in the relationship.
Dude, I think, yes, I'm not saying it's useless. I'm saying it's the 20-80. You do 80% of the work and it only gets you 20% of the results.
You think so?
I think people just avoid the scariest thing, which is go up and say hi.
Okay.
Like they're just like, I'm going to become the most jacked guy.
You're 400 pounds.
All this money. What's that?
You're 400 pounds. You're not the most attractive. You haven't worked on yourself.
You know a mutual friend of ours who is a virgin, who's made a ton of money, when he's probably listened to the advice, hey, if you make enough money, they will come. If you make enough money, that guy just needs to get out there. That guy just needs to go and say hi. Yes.
Yeah, but he's worked on himself, though. At that point, it's easier, don't you think? Again, like, I see your point, but I need you, like, explain it to me in a way.
He's a virgin.
I get that.
And he's in his 30s?
Yeah.
And he's not a virgin by choice. He's not religious. Nothing wrong with being a virgin. But here's the thing. Yes, all those things help.
I don't think he's ready. He's not in his 30s yet. But he's getting close.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's ready because I just don't think he hasn't built the confidence in himself to do that. Because
Yeah.
I think
And the way he does it is he goes and says hi. He goes into the scary thing, which is talk to the women.
I guess okay, I see your point. If
Right.
you're looking at that perspective,
I just think, and here's the thing: there's a website in your business can help. Having a great marketing plan, having a great strategy, making your product even better, spending more time editing your video. Yes, those are all help. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying that if you're looking for a mate, the highest leverage thing you can do is go out and say hi. Go out and say hi. Go out and say, like, again and again and again and again and again. Instead of like, oh, let me like perfectly define it first. And you still want to define what your partner looks like, but I think we just do those things to avoid the number one thing, right? And that's where the Pareto principle, the extreme Pareto principle comes in. Also in health, I think morbidly obese people, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them will try anything before eating less. They'll try anything.
that's actually true.
Right? It's like, it's pretty simple what you got to do. Eat less, move more. I'm not saying it's easy. It's very difficult, especially for people who have built a habit of that and they use it as a coping mechanism. So Pareto principle, for those of you who don't know, why are you listening to this podcast? Please turn off.
Yeah, God forbid.
This is only for extremely successful, hyper-productive people.
100%.
But, you know, if you have to explain it to someone who doesn't know what it is, a normie.
You're
then
kind. You'll do
you
that.
Would say, you would say Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule, is that 80% of your results come only from 20% of the work that you do. And extreme Pareto is where you keep going deeper. The book, The One Thing, talks about that a little bit, where, there's the 80-20, and then you go down further. About the 20% of work that I'm doing that give me 80% of the results, what's the one thing in that gets me 99% of the results, right? I think that the more you work, the higher the fear tax gets, because people do everything else first to avoid the one scary, bold move. And I think a lot of people work long hours, not all of them, but a lot of them, they just take off the non-important stuff first. But they're just like, I'm going to work all these long hours. I have a list of all the things I could do. I'm going to get really busy. And it's like this busy procrastination where they just take off the non-important, the stuff that could help. And the really bold, scary move is like on the bottom of the list. And let me just keep ticking off the ones on the top of the list. And they only get to the bottom of the list when they either have exhausted everything on the top, or they have no other option and their back is against the wall, which rarely happens. And so the reason why this is coming to my attention is because, as you know, I've recently started committing to volunteering in this leadership program that takes a lot of my time. So a lot of my calendar is already forced away from me. And therefore, it's this forcing function that forces me to look at where are the bold moves that I can just do. And I'm noticing it day to day, like every single task I'm doing, there is a shortcut to it that is bold. Like I told you, for example, one of the big things was, hey, I think I need to hire a number 2. Like someone who becomes like my right-hand person. Scary, I don't know how to do it. I brought a friend of mine in to help me with that. His name is Dylan. And that was scary, but it's like a much higher leverage move. And
has it been good?
Yes. And working with Dylan has been so great. Like, for example, we recently traveled to record a podcast. I'm going to talk more about it later, but we were at the airport. And this guy reached out to me on Instagram, just like, he sent me a really good message about why he likes the podcast and how he could help. And I sent him like, hey, let me know how you think you can add value. He sent me a document with like topic ideas, and they were really good. And I showed Dylan, I'm like, this could be a good candidate right here. And he was like, and Dylan was like, yeah, you should probably call him. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And Dylan just keeps looking at me and was like, yeah, you should call him right now. I'm like, oh, you're right. In my mind, the default was like, yeah, I'm going to put it on my calendar, like in like 2 or 3 days when I have time, I'm going to call him. And he was like, do it right now. And I called him, he picked up with a great conversation for 20 minutes. And it just moved so much faster, like just moving faster. Like Hormozy has a whole thing where he says like, screw the end of week, just do it end of day. Like if you build that habit, everything gets pushed to the front. And man, I think the key question should always be, what's the bold move? It's go approach that person you like. Don't wait to make more money. Don't wait to be ready. Go approach them now. Launch the product that you're thinking of. Launch it tonight. Try out new things, like the new strategy now. Let go of control. Ask for help. Say sorry. Say I love you. Say I forgive you. Like whatever those things are. It just takes boldness. It doesn't need a new crazy strategy. It doesn't need a new system, a new efficiency, or any of that. It's just, I think we become so unproductive, or we leave a lot of results on the table because we're just scared. It doesn't need more time. And what's really supported me is this forcing function where I have less time. I have a constraint. And I realize how well I work under pressure and constraints. Like, for example, recently shot an episode with a guest that I'm going to get into later. And we talked on Tuesday, and he was like, yeah, you want to come out on Saturday? I had all this stuff on my plate, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I had very little time to prepare, booked flights, got it done, and we have it recorded. And usually I would have said, you know what, let's try next week because I have a bunch of stuff to do right now. This just forced me to, okay, I don't have time to focus on these like things that could help. Let me only do the things that are absolutely necessary. It just like forces me into, okay, let's take the jump. What do you think?
I mean, you threw a lot. What do you think is... Because here's the thing. I think what you were talking about with moving fast, I think that is something that a lot of individuals with the quote-unquote, in my opinion, it factor do. It's just there's a level of urgency.
Yes.
You know? And
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have that level of urgency, and I think that's why they stay stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it comes from also like a deeper anxiety to not have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's where I think courage is necessary. It's just like, just do it now. Even when it comes to writing a book, there's nothing scary in theory about sitting down and, okay, let's write for 2 hours every day. But it actually is terrifying. Sitting down, closing the door, notifications off, you're by yourself, you and your thoughts, and you're staring at the blank page of nothingness. And every sentence you write, you think, oh, what are the critics going to say? Oh, this sounds dumb. This is going to make me look stupid. It's scary. It's terrifying. And I think it comes down to like fear of like, and the lack of urgency comes from, I'll just deal with it later.
100%. It's funny because in COVID 2020, I remember it was me and like 3 other friends. We were all going to be coaches. We were all literally in the same place. We all would meet up once a week and we would just talk about what we were going to do to like be successful. Completely useless meeting. Like literally, when I say useless, I mean like it couldn't have been any more useless.
You just hung out on Zoom.
We hung out on Zoom.
Yeah, but that could be fun too. But
yeah, but it was like it was like, yeah, we're all gonna grow together. We all had egos, but we all didn't know anything. And you know what's crazy? 5 years later, I'm the only one that made it out of that group.
Out of that group, yeah, and they're all billionaires, and you're
Exactly. It's not even close to being a thousandaire yet. A couple hundreds.
Thousandarian, is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can make it a thing.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I had a friend reach out to me. One of my friends in that group, that was one of my closest friends, who literally we would talk every single day in that time. We did the same skill set, everything. And he called me. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm just driving Uber now. I'm trying to figure out the next thing. Can you put me on with a coach, with a closing job or whatever?" And it like, for a second, it blew my mind because I was like, dude, we were both in this together. The only difference is you were living with your mom and you had like a safety net and I didn't. And I'm like, that was the only big difference. And I'm like, and I forced him. I'm like, yo, come on, let's do all these things together. And what's crazy is like, it was taking those uncomfortable steps, like traveling to a country with like $20 in my bank account.
Yeah.
And doing all these small things that he wanted to do, but he was so afraid of what was going to happen in the future. And I think one of the biggest conversations I had with him, I'm like, bro, at least we got each other. If we fail, at least we can, 2 of us is better than 1. So we'll figure out a way to like,
we'll share our misery.
It was the things that were scary that stopped him. And if he just took, and it wasn't anything big, it was just small, little incremental, scary to a point where then it doesn't really get scary anymore because nothing's really scary. It's just lack of understanding. You know, that's how I look at it. Like
Uncertainty, yeah.
yeah, if you take a massive risk on a stock, it's only risky if you don't understand why you are paying for that stock or why you think it would be a good chance. But everything in the world is a risk.
Mm-hmm.
But if you understand it enough, then nothing's really a risk, because it's like it's the certainty that's already instilled in you from learning that specific subject is what gives you the confidence to move forward. But sometimes you gotta get past that.
I think it's the biggest hack for just achieving your goals sooner, which is put yourself in a position. For me, put myself in a position where I have my back against the wall and it must work out. Now.
And it usually works out.
Now. Yes. Like my first YouTube channel, when I started 4 or 5 years ago, it blew up 2 or 3 months before I ran out of money. That's the money I made in my previous business, which I only started when shit hit the fan. And the only way I could be with my girlfriend again, who was in Australia, was you got to make money online. And I gave myself a year, because after that, like, she's probably going to find someone else. I'm going to find someone else. Like, got to make it work now. Before that, I had so many business ideas and half-assed them and just like tried out some things. Just like, let me set up a website and logo and all that. Nothing happened. And it even comes down to a day-to-day level where I'm noticing if I make commitments to people, this podcast, you showing up here every week, like this morning I prepped this podcast. I didn't have time the past few days, but like this morning I was like, okay, I got to lock in, like just get laser, boom, boom, boom. Let's choose this. Let's move fast. And like if you weren't here, it'd be so easy for me to say, like, I can do it tomorrow as well. I can do it the next day. But like, no, like we committed to this time. Same thing with having a guest on, right? Like, okay, I've got a guest coming up. I'm meeting Hughes. This is the only day he's available. I've got 1 day to prepare. Let's go.
Gotta figure it out.
And what I'm learning is I should always force myself into that position. Like, not when it's just like, there's no other way, I have to make it happen. But like, no, I'm intentionally going to put myself in positions where I have to perform. Like it reminds me of the Tony Robbins documentary, I'm Not Your Guru. And he's done this live as well when I was at his event. This woman was talking about how, you know, she's not happy in a relationship and he's leading this guy on where she's like, and he's asking her questions like, do you think this is going to work out? And she's just like, I mean, and then he tells the audience, I mean, look at her. We all know the answer. Why are you dragging it out? When are you going to talk to him? Like, exactly. And then he says, pull out your phone right now. And of course, she could have a better conversation if she sat down at home, she journaled a bit, she prepped, and, you know, they sat together and all that. But simply the habit of saying, as soon as you know something's right to do it immediately, trickles down into all of your life, right? And even with small things where I'm remembering, I should probably talk to my friend about this, or like, I just had a thought, like, this team member, I gotta let him know, or, you know, my partner, I gotta tell her, like, I think I messed up, and I should say sorry. Next time I see her, no, pull out your phone right now, send a voice message. Like, do it right now. Make the decision right now. Reply to the email right now. Like,
do you think it's different in relationships?
What?
Because you just said it. Okay, this is interesting. So sometimes you have the right decision. You're like, all right, it's done. And I think this is where a lot of like relationships, in my opinion, falter. Where people drag out their relationship. Like, how many times have you seen people that
every time?
Like, it's like,
Every
they broke up
relationship.
2 years ago, but they've been together for 5 years.
Every relationship is dragged out. Not every, but, and you never know, because sometimes it could turn around, but.
I think that is, in my opinion, the toughest form of this specific, or like this specific rule. I think in a relationship, because it's like, your gut knows it's wrong, but it's like, am I self-sabotaging? Is this the right decision? And it's scary. It's really, really scary, because you want to take that action, but it's like the doubt is like, was this the right action or not? I think everything is easy around. I think relationships, in my opinion, are the most difficult things humanly possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think business. I think maintaining a 10-year relationship, I think, in my opinion, can be sometimes harder than making $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million. You just need time.
Yeah,
Like,
time and skill,
Yeah.
and then repetition. Time, skill, repetition, and discipline. But then the same thing applies for a relationship. Time, skill, repetition, discipline. Except with, I just think it's tougher.
Yeah. it's terrifying ending a relationship. There's no graceful way to do it. I mean, there's more graceful ways.
100%.
But oftentimes doing it in a messy way sooner is much better than waiting for the right moment, knowing it'll happen, but waiting for, oh, she's, you know, he's currently going through a tough time, so let me wait. Or she's currently, you know.
They're going through a tough time. Fuck it. Let's just keep adding. Let's add fuel to the fire. They'll get over it together. So
Yeah,
it works.
It depends, right? If, you know, they just lost a family member, you don't want to be like, hey, by the way.
You're going to lose me too.
Yeah.
Want to say a magic trick?
No, but
Abracadabra.
let's say like work is stressful or whatever. Like, especially certain people, like I remember a friend of mine, his girlfriend, she was always complaining about everything going wrong. And so he was like, there's no good time. Like, I just have to do it now. And he did it, yeah. And both of them ended up better off. So
We'll say, yeah, it's a quick action.
Can you think of more actions like this where it's like, hey, you're just avoiding the one bold, scary thing?
I think firing employee as well.
Yeah.
Firing an employee is a massive entrepreneur. One of the big things that I've noticed is when I go into companies, one of the first things I always say is like, "Who's your weed?" They're like, what do you mean? Like, who's the weed? Like, I don't understand what you mean. It's like, who's that one person that if you could fire today, but you can't fire him, but you want to fire him? You have a gut feeling about them.
Yeah.
And they're like, this person, like, so why haven't you fired him? Well, it took me for really long to train him and all this stuff, and I've already invested so much time. You do realize he's the one stopping you, or she's the one stopping you from getting to where you need to get to. And usually what's crazy is once you fire that individual, that's like the 20% thing that you could be doing.
Yeah.
And then it's like the culture then starts optimizing again, or getting back to where it was.
Yeah, you're basically doging. Yeah, you're one of them, huh?
One of what?
One of Doge.
Dojang?
You know Doge?
Dogecoin?
The Department of Government Efficiency.
I did not know that.
You've never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Oh.
I'm like dodging.
Okay.
I'm like sure. I just nodded my head and be like, I guess.
No, it's Elon Musk's department of
when he just fires people,
simplifying the government and shutting down government agencies that do stuff that are like nobody's getting anything done and it costs millions of dollars.
But they hate him.
Yeah, they do.
Because you're
big
like,
time. Have you read the news? I mean, I don't read the news at all.
Yeah,
never,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, I have no idea.
People talk about it a lot on the podcast that I listen to, but yeah, people are like setting Teslas on fire and stuff like that. The stock is going down like crazy.
I saw the stock is going down. Dude, here's the thing. I find out about the news because my mom sends me things from Facebook whenever something happens in Texas. There's a tornado in like.
Are you okay?
Dude, there's a tornado in Dallas, and she was like, "Oh my god, I noticed that there's a tsunami coming," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, I didn't notice, and now I'm on alert. So thank you for putting me in high alert when I was having a great day."
Yeah.
And it's usually Facebook posts, those random Facebook posts.
Facebook is the older generations, man.
100%.
It's funny how they always made fun of like the younger generations for being on the screen and all that, and now they're the most hooked.
100%, because they have nothing better to do.
They really don't.
They're just chilling at home. They're like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it's sad.
But yeah, okay, dojing, like everyone's. I didn't understand why the Tesla stock was getting cut, and then what's the name? Trump did like a pardon for him or something. They posted a tweet. He's like, hey guys, leave Musk alone or something along those lines. I saw like a post on Instagram, but I didn't really care enough to like look deeper.
Another move, I remember looking at some women. Back in the day, I was judgmental of people who are overweight.
Okay.
Now I have a lot more grace for them because I'm like, I have my own thing, like habits that I struggle to let go of. Like for me, not eating or being fit, all that comes very easy to me. Other things, much more difficult.
Okay.
So I'm just like, okay, they struggle with this, I struggle with other things. But back in the day, I would look at some like really overweight women, and they would have the eyelash extensions, they would have all the makeup, they would have all the fancy clothes to look hot, and I was just like, if you just lost weight, you'd be so attractive. I'm not saying like you got to be skinny. I actually think, a little bit of healthy fat is great on women, but it's like doing everything else but that one thing.
I agree. I thought you were gonna keep going.
Don't leave me hanging here.
No, I thought you were gonna keep going. I'm like, is there anything else?
Yeah, no.
Dude, no, 100%. And it's wild because if you tell them that, God forbid, that's it. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah. tons of that happens in relationships too, right? Like just forgiving someone, saying sorry. Difficult to do, takes 5 minutes. 2 minutes, can take 1 minute. But in the meantime, we do all this stuff around it.
So like, are you talking about emotionally difficult things or physically difficult things? When I
could
say
be
physically, I
either.
mean like
It could
time
be-
consuming.
It could be either.
Because like having that conversation with your family member or something, or that partner, could be on the list the easiest, less time consuming thing you have, but it's the most difficult.
That's what I mean though with this.
So what are you
Pareto
talking about?
With the Pareto principle, a lot of the things don't take much time. They just take boldness. Just like, let me jump in. Like, what's the last time you've done something where you're like, oh my God, like I can't, like your hands, your palms are sweaty. Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Meatball spaghetti. What is it called?
Like, it doesn't happen that often, but I remember whenever I've done something like this, for example, approaching someone attractive, most terrifying thing the first time I did it. So much growth from that one thing. So much. Or firing the first person, hiring the first person.
I think for me, I had something really recent, and I kind of like. You tell me if this counts. So I think I just told you I'm trying to get into insurance. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I spent 3 weeks or 4 weeks, 3 weeks studying and learning the stuff the long way. And that whole entire time I was thinking about how can I optimize this as fast as possible because I hated it. And I realized I could have did it in literally 2 days. So I wasted 3 weeks of my life doing it a specific way when I could have did it in 2 days or 3 days at max. And I think for me in that moment, like taking that exam and doing it was it was the most stressful thing on my whole entire agenda, but it was the thing I didn't want to do because 1, I didn't want to take the exam. 2, I had a lot of ego around taking the exam because I didn't really need it. And 3, it was just boring as fuck. Like, bro, none of this shit's useless. None of it's useful. It's all useless. And it was just like horrible. But I think the biggest thing that I'm like trying to get out of it is like, do you think that would be my thing? Because I still did it in a month. But do you think that would be my like 80% where I just kind of like...
What was the difference between doing it in 3 days? Like, what was missing? Why didn't you figure that out sooner?
I literally could have just used ChatGPT to get past all the content material. I could have literally just watched the summary videos at the end of every single module, and then I could have done the exam multiple times and repeated it because the questions were almost verbatim.
Gotcha. Sounds more like you were just dumb.
100%.
Yeah.
But what's
So
crazy is...
there's a fear tax of productivity, then there's a stupidity tax
Got
of
it.
productivity.
Well, the crazy thing is I think a lot of people are dumb because nobody gave me that advice. And it blows my
But
mind.
again, you asked, how can I optimize this?
I asked multiple
Ooh.
people. I asked all the people that were a part of it that were doing it. And nobody had an answer that was like... It was always uncertain. It was always like, oh, well, I don't know if the questions are the same. I'm like, bro, you took the exam and you took both of them. So in my head, I'm like, all of these questions could have been answered so simply. And honestly, I just saw rage.
Yeah.
And then I told my friend the same piece of advice. He literally did it in 3 days. And I was super happy for him because it worked. Yeah. But I was livid because I'm like, I had nobody to tell me this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. It just like, but I look at it, the grand scheme of things. The people that I train, I will get a percentage of them. Even though I don't want to be in it, it's still like, quote unquote, is worth it. But it was a massive pain in the ass. And it was like literally 3 weeks that I'll never get back.
Yeah, we talked about the who, not how idea before and how that's like the ultimate, like a huge hack for getting anything done. Like you did something in 3 weeks, you could have done it in 3 days. That's who, not how, had you found the right person. Well, I think what oftentimes gets in the way of that is people's pride. They just don't think of it, or they want to be in control. Like, let me just do it my way. Let me do it my way. I'm a doer. I'm like, and it's like this busy procrastination where we feel good for doing a lot of stuff. And like, okay, I have a full calendar now because for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to learn all this stuff, take this exam. Like, I think a lot of us don't like an empty calendar. We don't want it to be easy. You know, because when we're in that void, we have to fill it again with something else that keeps us busy.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think some people like the empty calendar.
Some people do. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I think it's also switching like the belief or the story you tell yourself on an empty calendar. I used to think the more my calendar was full, the more successful I was, compared to now where it's like the less full my calendar is and the money's still coming in, it shows me the more successful I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes you feel good because I'm like, look at how hard I'm working. But it's all on easy things that just take a lot of time.
But do you want that though? Do you want the feeling of knowing you're working really hard to get the same thing that you could be doing?
No, I'm not arguing for it. But I'm saying that's why I think people fall into that.
100%. Yes. It's like that. It's like that sense of like, oh my God, look at me. I'm like, yeah, getting shit done.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you lie to yourself because that shit's not actually moving the needle forward. It's just random things that you're doing because subconsciously you feel good about it, but nothing is actually. It's like you think you're growing, but you're not growing.
Yeah.
You're trapped in this like hamster wheel.
Yeah. Lots to think about. Dude, we have crazy good news.
What?
We have a first sponsor.
Okay. Let me hear it.
This episode is sponsored by John Zhang.
John Zhang?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's my buddy. He Venmoed me $5.
Okay. Love that. He didn't Venmo me anything.
Yeah, well, it's my podcast.
Oh, got it. Maybe like
Actually,
$2? Can he like Venmo me $2 or something?
There's a little update right here. I don't know if you noticed. I added a banner.
I'll be successful.
I also made a little adjustment to the profile picture. I don't know if you can see
I
it.
hate you. I hate you so much. That is that is literally, you are the worst human being I've ever met in my entire life.
I don't know if it's big enough to see, but this is the image that we're using now. It's
wow, that's literally the worst. I quit. I can't do this. I'm like, the level, honestly, I wish you didn't even put anything. The level of this, that looks like somebody just had an accident, just like moving. You know how like you think, oh, there's something on the screen.
You keep saying that where's my face on it? Here it is.
That's
Here's your fame. Here's the fame that you always wanted, Imad. You made it.
I'm so mad.
This is how you get the 100K plaque once we get 100,000 subscribers. So yeah, I put Imad's face into the profile picture.
Listen, Leon,
you can't see it.
I don't think you're funny, but I think this has to be by far the funniest thing you've ever done.
Great.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a joke. So
well, I'm just letting you know, you're not funny.
This is my gift to you.
It looks like somebody has a speck on the movie theater or whatever, the TV or the screen. Like, how many people are gonna get on there and try to like wipe it off when they get in?
Back to the sponsorship. The podcast is making money. We made our first $5 because of John Zhang. He's a listener of the show and a friend of mine. And here's his message. If your company that does over $1 million in annual recurring revenue, in 45 minutes, the Omega AI team will identify exactly where your business is leaking money through manual processes and show you how to automate them using AI. Anything you do twice, if there's a process for it, it can be automated. So he's got a company called GetOmega.ai, and they can literally automate anything in your company. Anything.
Sexy.
So yeah, they're growing fast, raising money, kicking butt left and right. Check it out. Thanks for sponsoring this episode. And if you want to sponsor this episode next, Venmo me. I'll put a link below.
Me too.
I don't know how this is gonna Venmo me.
Us. If it's more than $5, it has to be us. You know what I mean? If it's $5,
reach out to Imad's Instagram if you want to send him money as well. But
listen,
I'm part of the not get a shout out on this podcast.
Listen, I'm part of the podcast. You just saw my face on the
Yes.
channel.
But yeah,
You know, are you gonna put it on the thumbnails now too? Just little specks of my face just in the corners.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Great, that's a great idea. Also, I have a new banner. I don't like it that much, but it's the first idea.
You have arrived. Let's have fun.
I think it captures the essence. So what it says is, one day I'll be successful, happy, and enough, and that's strike through, whatever you call it. And it says underneath, you have arrived. Let's have fun. I think that's kind of like the essence of the podcast that I want to. It's like, this is not about this one of these heavy podcasts where it's like, you're going to be successful. We're going to do all this.
You made it.
It's like, listen, let's have fun. Like the imagery that I'm thinking of what this podcast is you see all these motivational, intense, serious speakers like David Goggins, who's like, oh, you got to like get through the darkness, all that. And what we're doing is we're just tickling him. Just like, hey, come on. Just
chill out.
On.
Dude, he's too extreme.
He can still be intense. He can still do everything you want. And also, let's have fun.
Dude, he's too intense for me.
Yeah.
He's way too intense. breaking into my house, waking me at 5 a.m. Like, no.
I think there's a time and place, and on this podcast, we want to have fun. Also, this was also another thing where I was like, I think it'd be cool to have a banner like this, like a, you know, and Dylan was like, yeah, you should text your designer right now. Just send him a message. This is what he sent me. Boom, done. Like, instead of like putting it on my calendar or like my to-do list.
Dylan's
like,
godsend right now.
Yeah, and it comes very easy for him to take action quickly. For me, I'm like head in the clouds, and that also has its time and place. But my balance is, all right, I need someone to be like, okay, let's do it right now.
I like the whole to-do list approach. I have a to-do list, and I have to finish my to-do list before the end of the day.
Great.
Like, that's because my to-do list only is for one day. It's never like for multiple days, unless there is something that requires me to do it 3 days from now. That's the only time. But other than that, that's been my like secret hack in my notes.
I tend to do too much. I tend to put too much on the to-do list, and then I never finish it in the day, and then it's like, ugh. So.
Yeah, just put chunks. Put the necessary things first.
Yeah. Also, quick update. Last weekend, I traveled to North Carolina, and then I drove a car for an hour and a half into Virginia to meet with Chase Hughes.
Cool.
So Chase Hughes, I've had him on the podcast twice, but on separate channels. That was first on the on this channel right here. That's what the first time we met 7 months ago. It did really well, 1.7 million views. And then when I started a new channel, which now I turned into the Clips channel, had him on again, and that is at 4.4 million views now, 6 months ago. And so I wanted to have him on again. We've been talking, we've been in touch, and this time I offered, hey, why don't I just come out to your house? And it was a wild experience. So for those of you who don't, what's that?
You have footage?
I do. I do. We're going to look at it. So for those of you who don't know, Chase Hughes, the way I framed him in these interviews is government brainwashing and interrogation expert on how to spot lies and influence anyone. He's a human behavior expert. He's the type of person that can tell within a second whether someone's lying or withholding information. He's been in the military for 20 years. He trained intelligence agencies on interrogation, influence, psyops, all that sort of stuff. And he is one of the most fascinating human beings to hang out with. Also someone who, unfortunately, tells the most fascinating, interesting, and unbelievable stories off the podcast. And then as soon as cameras are rolling, he still has a lot of interesting things to say, but like the stuff he tells you off the camera, insane. And one of the interesting bits, for example, was when I arrived at his place. He's got a dog that is actually the granddaughter of the SEAL Team 6 dog, who are the guys who took out Bin Laden. So the bloodline is just the type of dog, and also that specific dog's bloodline is built for training and killing and absolute obedience. And yeah, he got one of those dogs, and it's one of the cutest dogs I've ever seen. Like, it looks like when the dog looks up at you, it's like super excited. Kind of looks like the dog is on cocaine, which of course it's not, but it looks like the dog is like always super happy, and it looks like a bat. It looks super cute, and dog literally with minimal training just follows him around, one single word, and does whatever he wants. And so he was sharing how, pulled out one of his guns, and like the littlest command.
I know what I did. I felt it.
Yeah.
What a good girl.
So stop attacking you, and
yeah, but you would want to sleep on. She'll rip your muscles in half. He'll be in the emergency room.
all right. Like, how much of an attack? Like, what if I just
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me.
Yes. So the dog is super sweet, and he said that German Shepherds, they used to be the police dogs and the dogs that they used to work with in the army, but apparently they were not 100% reliable because they were trained on aggression. This dog is zero aggression. Like, anything that dog does is play. Even when he goes and rips someone's arm off, if he clears a house and attacks a an enemy, it's like play. It's like, hey, I'm playing. Like I'm just doing what I'm told to, and everything's great. And
She's a happy girl.
yeah, and these dogs don't make mistakes. Like they're super reliable, is what he said. I didn't trust it, especially when Chase told me, hey, put on the protection on your arm, and I'm going to show you what that dog can do and what it feels like. And he said, if the dog grabs hold of your arm enough, and he doesn't just grab on the edge of it, it might still feel like your arm's going to snap. Like the force of that bite is so powerful, and it will be painful, but at least the flesh is not going to rip because you're going to have this protection.
Was it painful?
You'll see. I'll tell you after. But I was terrified because what are the chances that
It missed.
it goes for my crotch? It was just a thought that popped into my mind for a second. Like, bzoo. I was like, oh wait.
Does dog know to go after the arm?
Yes. So said Chase. And I just had to trust him.
Said Chase.
But and I was just like, what are the chances? What's the off chance that the dog, for some reason, something's going to poke out of my pants? Or, it looks like, hey, I would
You
like
get
to
an
bite
erection
there.
at the wrong minute.
Yes. Or maybe I'm attracted to, I have a certain kink. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like just getting attacked and almost dying, it turns me on. But yeah, I'm basically wearing a hood. And he said, hey, stand here, put the hood on so she doesn't recognize you immediately. And just put this arm protection on, and I'm going to come in. And the force, I mean, that dog was not going to let go. And he told me, hey, kick her, like try to get her off. Like try to kick her off. Give her some kicks. Not possible. If this was my actual arm,
You've been done.
yeah, I mean, it would be broken. And then as soon as he says down, she lays down,
What about the white dog? The white dog's such a good...
Oh, it's just a normal random dog. It's just a dog for like, it's like furniture. It's like, there's also another one here, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's the beloved child.
Yes. It was wild. And so in my case, luckily the dog only bit the edge of the protective thing. So I didn't feel it on my arm. Because it's a very big protective wrist thing, whatever you call it. But he said also, hey, go lunge at me now. Look at what happens. Immediately goes back to attacking. So, yeah, fascinating.
What's the other German? That's another German Shepherd.
Yes, there's another German Shepherd. That one's not trained. That one's just happy to be here.
He has 3 dogs,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's his favorite.
Yeah.
Search? Oh, so church is where?
Yeah.
No danger.
Crazy. He said if you want to buy one of those dogs trained, is like multiple 6 figures.
Yeah, I heard about that. Dude, there was a guy, I saw a YouTube video a long time ago where it's like, he paid, I think, $200K to get it trained in, like, I think Russia or something. But it was like...
And you can use the bathroom now and stuff, yeah.
100%. He can just he can go to the bathroom by itself. That's the whole reason why he spent $200K.
Nice.
Nothing
That
else.
dog, actually, while we're recording, kept opening the door.
Who kept opening the door?
Huh?
Kept opening the door to the room?
Yes. And kept coming in. It was like super excited and very demanding in terms of getting pets. He showed us also some gadgets. He has the this is a skateboard in his office from Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2, the hoverboard, signed by the crew members as well. He has a painting of his wife where she's like from a comic painter where she's like a ballerina carrying a gun. I'm not going to show that one. And then he has the Tesseract from Interstellar, which is like another movie prop. You can look into it with binoculars and you can see like 30 miles into it.
What's a Tesseract?
It's like a movie prop from the Interstellar. And diving helmet. This is
Is that a bazooka?
bazooka. I love that name. A rocket launcher, yes, and an M250 caliber machine gun with a lot of wear and tear.
Those are, he can use them when they're...
I don't think they're ready to be used. They're just from the battlefield. One of the guns that I shot right here, I think it's a Scorpion. And
How was the recoil on that one?
Oh, you'll see. You'll see. This one here is this one here is funny. He had a RFK cutout, life size. Oh, yeah, over at the fridge as a reminder. That's kind of funny. Putting an RFK, that's a health hack right there. Yeah, we shot some guns. And man, guns are terrifying. He lives far out in the country where there's no cell phone towers around. It's completely quiet. You don't see the neighbors. It's on a big property. And he specifically picked a house where there's no flight paths. So there's no airplanes, and the silence in that place. And the peace that you feel just being there.
He picked the no-fly path as a safety measure?
Just to get, have no noise. Just to be in a serene place. And it's beautiful.
Is he next to a nearby town?
Yes, it's a drive. It's a drive.
We have bears out here, right? We have 12 that live on the property.
12
what?
bears.
12 bears?
12 bears that live on the property. How many will we?
Yeah.
You see often? Once a week, probably. Wow.
Got 12 bears on the property. Sees them once a week. And he bought this specific military vehicle that he looked for years. And it's the specific one that he went into deployment with. It's the exact one that he was on deployment with. And man, these things are... This is basically a tractor, this vehicle.
The guy who used to own this had it for show.
And
Wanted it to be.
yeah, it's fascinating. Shot some guns. Have you ever shot a gun?
Hmm?
Man, terrifying. These things are terrifying. So this is a shotgun. Look how far that thing goes. Like, you could be that far away and it would shred you into pieces. This is an M4, I think. That one, dude, like, you put your cheek on it, and as you shoot, it literally feels like the shockwave goes into your skull. And I immediately heard, like, beeping.
Yeah, you know, like when you shoot like military-grade weapons, dude, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah. Then the Scorpion was the next one. This one, much easier. Very easy to shoot. And
Silencer's sick, dude.
yes, Hitman gun, basically. So it has a silencer and it literally feels like a toy gun. That's what I said. It feels exactly like, it's like shooting a toy gun. It's like, this is not real. And yeah, it was just a really cool trip, really fun trip being out there with him, seeing how he lives and how he set up his office, his life. And he had a whole, like, I don't know how much I can share, but
Yeah.
there's certain things I couldn't film.
Looks like you had fun, bro.
Yes.
Dylan have fun?
Yeah. Yeah. And that other German Shepherd, he actually got it from a shelter where it was almost dead. It was like really neglected. Not in the shelter, but from the previous owner.
Not trained one.
Not the trained one. Yeah. But that other German Shepherd looked really unhealthy. Like, the hair was gone and really, like, malnourished. And then he showed me a picture of it too later. It was a bit blurry, but the hair was back and it was super healthy. And he, with supervision of a professional, like a vet, he gave it methylene blue. Have you heard of methylene blue? He talks about methylene blue a lot, and we talked about it in the episode. It's this industrial blue dye that's has tons of studies and research on it, of its benefits, that's used in the medical field, and it's over the counter, and people use it for cognitive enhancements. I use it too, since I've heard about it from him. And yeah, it has... I'd have to research more to explain it better, but what it can do for the body and the cells and the cellular health is incredible.
Interesting.
So it's because all these, like, quirky, interesting things that he's, like, testing out, and yeah, he's a fascinating character. And that episode is coming out soon. And I tried to keep it in the same format that we have here, which is like Guru of the Week and $1 trillion business idea. It's not a typical interview. So I'm sure a lot of people will see it and be like, oh, this sucks. Like, the host keeps talking. Like, why doesn't he keep interviewing him? But it's like, it's not an interview. We're just hanging out and having a good time. And
I like that format.
it was great. Yeah, and I think it's good for the podcast to consistently have the same format, whether it's just us as hosts or us with a guest. So that's it, man. I think I'll do more guest episodes like this. I would like to do like 50-50 co-hosts, just co-hosts and then guests. So yeah.
Sick, bro. I love it.
Yeah, I think you guys would have had a really good time talking about influence and human persuasion and stuff like that.
I mean, let me know when he comes back, and when it's more planned, I would love to meet him.
Yeah,
I would just love to pick his brain about some of the stuff because, dude, I'm obsessed with human behavior, and that's been something that I've been like, I just love it. But it's good to be around somebody that actually understands it.
yeah,
But it's interesting because I used to tell myself this all the time when I was like talking to a lot of very successful people. I'd always be like, maybe they know everything that I've studied too, so I have to like be my best behavior and like, because your body outs yourself. So for him, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be just like, it's gonna be interesting just watching how he like interacts and like the subtleties and like,
yeah. And
I think it's just cool.
He knows things to the max.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
The most intense degree, like hypnosis. Like, how do you make someone kill someone?
That's insane.
How do you make someone kill someone without them knowing that they've done it? Because you create a split personality that with a certain word, they switch into it and they forget everything else and then they switch back into it.
That's insane.
Like, he's made a documentary about the guy who killed JFK, and to this day, the guy's like, I have no idea what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know. And he did a breakdown of it. And like, this guy was probably influenced and persuaded and brainwashed. And he's innocent. Like, yes, he killed him, but
it wasn't him.
yes. And so we talked about a fighter that he worked with where he instilled an alter ego in that fighter's mind to the point where the commenters in the fight said they've never seen anything like it, like somebody who didn't recoil from the punches and didn't flinch, and how composed he was in the breaks, where he wasn't huffing and puffing, but he was like an animal, like Mike Tyson was when he was brainwashed.
He did that with the fighter?
Yes.
Did
And
the fighter win?
I think so. I guess so. But
I mean, I hope so.
I hope so.
Doesn't really make sense if you okay, you instilled that in him, and like, did he win?
I think so. I would be surprised if he wasn't, but yeah, I don't know for sure, but I think so. And he was saying too that at the weigh-ins, the fighter's wife saw him, and just instinctively grabbed her child, like out of fear, just like, that is not my husband. Like, who is that?
That's insane.
Yes. So there's some crazy stuff you can do, and I told him about like insomnia I had in the past, and like, could you get rid of that? And he's like, oh yeah, easy. That's easy. Like, we just have to like do this process and, you know, get you into delta waves and then repeat that over and over and train your brain where to the point where when you squeeze your wrist, you can fall asleep like that.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
There was something like I think Navy SEALs did. There was like a special thing where they could put themselves to sleep very quickly in like high stress situations.
Yeah. And so they're launching a program where they're helping CEOs and high performers instill a separate identity that they can tap into like that, where they're like a different human being.
That's sexy.
Super sexy.
Yeah, dude, no, it's sick, man. Like I said, man, whenever he's back in town, let's get dinner or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to connect and meet with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Guru of the week.
Let's do it.
So for those of you who are new here, we feature fascinating, quirky, interesting characters that we call Guru of the Week. It's not every week, but sometimes we find someone, and it's oftentimes people we can learn from, sometimes not so much. Sometimes we can learn what not to do, but this is not a dig. This is not hating. We're celebrating these people because they're going outside of the box. They do some wild stuff, right? This guy was a leading model for Versace, and he studied nutrition, herbs, detoxification, and he's basically someone who biohacks to the max. Like, any biohacking thing you can do, he's done it and he's doing it. And he's one of the authors of Ripped at 50. Looks ripped. He looks great. His name is Troy Casey, a.k.a. Certified Health Nut.
Journey to self-love.
Of course. First clip.
I've been drinking my own urine for 17 years.
Dude, honestly, today's a good day for you. You're doing it. You're doing it. Today, you're getting me. You're getting me off. You're catching me off guard in the best possible way. Like, I have to give you your flowers.
Do you want to see more? Or just
I
the
would
first 3
love to
seconds?
see more.
Okay, great.
I resonated with the information. I tried it. And then a couple years ago, one of my friends educated me even more on it. It's an ancient Arabic.
He started drinking the piss because he heard some benefits, and then later on, a friend educated him more on it. It's like, hey, what you're doing is actually really good. Have you ever done that?
Drink my own piss? No.
I've heard of it.
Have you done it?
Specifically, no.
Just try it out.
No.
Try it out. Let me know how it goes, and then I'll consider it.
No, I'm not one of them. Not one of them. But I did a dry fast before where you don't drink any water, you don't eat any food, and I did a hard dry fast where you don't get in touch with water. And one of the things that people say there is like, oh, you can drink your own piss. And I was like, I'm going to skip that one.
Vedic practice. It has stem cells, free stem cells, right? So stem cells, amino acids, antibodies. It's the hair of the dog. Whatever's going on inside you, it's a direct neurofeedback, biofeedback loop. You know what's wrong with you as soon as you drink your morning pee. Ooh, too much
I can imagine what's wrong with me when I drink my own pee. There's definitely something wrong with me.
salt. Too much caffeine.
That
And
happens.
So,
Too much piss.
Imagine you just wake up one morning next to your girlfriend and just drinking your piss. Honey, you added too much salt in the food last night. Let's not do that.
And then you give her a kiss.
That's the gold right there.
so it's a direct feedback loop. Topically aged urine is the fountain of youth for sure.
It looks great though.
So here's the thing. He looks great. I don't want to make fun of him because
How many views does it
in
get?
general, I don't want to make fun of people, but I want to give him praise. He's turning 60. He looks great. I'll show you some other footage of him later, but like he looks very healthy. And all he suggests is free stuff. Probably there's also paid stuff, but like the crazy things he suggests, the things that are out there, they're free. So it's not like he's a big pharma guy who's scamming people and just like, hey, buy this expensive thing. It's free. Everyone can do it. And also think about this. Meditation used to be weird. That used to be the woo-woo thing, right? Now it's proven. Now it's like, oh, obviously it helps your mental health. Obviously it's great for your brain. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
but
that
meditation and piss are two different things. You can't compare meditation
I'm not.
to piss.
I'm not.
I'm just like
I'm not. I'm just giving him some wiggle room to be like, hey, there's some people that go out there and do stuff, and they come back with 3 things that are super weird. It's like you shouldn't have done that. But one thing that's like, wow, that's amazing. Ice baths, for example, that used to be a crazy thing. Now every health nut does it, and it's like obviously great. Same thing with earthing or grounding. Have you heard of it?
yeah, when you put your feet, you have to walk on
Yeah.
grass without socks.
Putting your feet, your bare feet on
Earth.
ground on the earth. Tons of proof that it reduces inflammation, all of that stuff. So like, you know, and I acknowledge characters like this always because they go out there, do crazy things, and they come back with some crazy insights. So yeah, he was one of the pioneers of the butthole sunning.
Of the what?
The butthole sunning.
the time.
Love him so
one
much
of my
more.
practices. I don't always talk about it, but it's well known that your sphincter or your butthole is one of the most sensitive or thin mucous membranes in the body. 30 seconds of sun on the butthole is like 8 hours of sun outside with your clothes on. And so, let's face it, the sun is the source of all energy, is the source of all life on planet Earth. And your butthole is the thinnest mucous membrane on the body. And so you're getting that sunlight up into the channel of the body.
Honestly, I'd be down to do this.
What?
I'd be down to do this.
I would be down to do this. I would not be down for you to do it.
Why?
Just don't do it when I'm around.
I mean, that's the whole point. We could do this together. It could be a journey that we could do part of the podcast. See, but here's what you just did right now. You basically gave me something. This was like a sales tactic. You showed me something that I would never do, and then you gave me another option of something that I could do that was significantly easier than the first one.
Yes.
So like if you started with this, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But because you started with, hey, he has to drink his own piss, I'm like, all right, compared to both devils, I'd rather choose this poison.
Great.
Horrible.
That's exactly what I did. So you're going to do this. You signed up for it. Let's also do this. Ball slapping.
Oh, I just did like, nope.
Cause, but I trust the process. It's gonna clear the channels. Then the third eye is gonna beam up. You're gonna get the transmission down from God. And you're gonna go out and create exactly what the people need.
He's such a surfer boy.
What's that?
You're gonna do everything and you're gonna create what like the people need. He's like
I think this is a
Cali
skit.
surfer boy.
I think this is a skit, but he's serious about the ball slapping.
Oh,
You gotta
I'll
breathe.
try again. I got it.
Breathe. Breathe.
Ha! 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 Tuck the tail so you bring the energy up into the kidneys. If that's too much, just try and knead them. Knead them or roll them.
That sound, dude, that looks painful.
I've seen these Japanese chicks jump on this Asian guy's balls, so I think the body can handle anything.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, don't touch me after you do that. But he talks about it seriously. So this, I think this was obviously a skit, but he's serious about it.
Then for men, so the women, they put a crystal yoni egg up their vagina, and then that strengthens it. And then if you get down with this, I mean, people can have really good sex. You know what I'm saying? Like really good sex. And then sex becomes a spiritual journey. And you want to get better at it. You want to eat clean because the body, you know, when you're huffing and puffing and having sex and good sex for hours at a time, right? You're going to need good apparatus. You're going to need a strong, clear body. For men, your ligament goes from your tongue through your heart into your genitals. And so you stretch that ligament, stretch the tongue out. You can knead the balls because there's,
You have a long tongue, bro.
you know, there's powerful energy and fluids in there.
Mine's not that long.
There's also, you want to massage the potential vascular impingements going down to your penis and your testicles.
Imagine he was just saying words. Imagine he's just saying random words, but nobody actually understands or can fact check him, so they're just gonna agree with him.
This makes sense to me.
I got a viral video on Twitter. It's got 2.3 million views. But Ryan Hughes, the motocross champion, taught me this ancient Chinese secret. I was kneading them for a while. You're supposed to knead them for the how old you are. And I'm 55, and so that was getting a little slow. So I started slapping them, and it hurts when you first do it too, right? So watch out. But it brings the chi. You're just like, you get the tongue out and the breath out. And so that's some of sexual kung fu. But, you know, read The Multi-Orgasmic Couple or anything by Montauk Chia. He's got like 30 books.
Yeah, but it's based off of old Chinese practices. So who are we to question it? It's not just him making it up. Would I do it? I'll try it tomorrow.
Yeah, let me know.
But yeah, he's got really great branding. I like his stuff. I'm in full support of what he's doing, and I think he's great, and I love him.
Let's go butthole gazing.
Yeah. Oh.
That sounds wrong. Butthole sun gazing.
Yeah.
If you do butthole gazing, I don't think it's the right deal.
I think he's great. And he's turning 60. I mean, look at what he looks like. He's shredded. He looks in great shape. He's got an epic beard.
Tall as fucking piss.
And he's got a really I think he's got a really epic lifestyle. Like he races Lamborghinis and stuff like that, and I don't know. Can't hate on him. He's just living his life. He's doing what he wants, and he's doing it in full force.
What does he do for money?
Psycho chickens of cyberspace.
Psycho Chickens of Cyberspace. It's Troy Casey, your leader, reporting live from Planet.
Great branding. Psycho chickens of cyberspace. This is Troy Casey, your leader.
So hold up. So he does.
I'm going to bring you my skincare routine. This is Everbalm. I've been using this for about 5 years. It's in Miron glass. This Miron glass allows the right spectrum of light to come through here. So the product actually gets better. Not only does it protect the product, but it gets better.
That's a genius marketing.
What the
I have
hell?
another $1 trillion business idea to send.
Okay, next podcast.
You just
Nope, just kidding. What is it now? Say it now.
Well, you just sell to people who are like health nuts. Like they're just like anything that's like, yo, this is made from the crystals of the Himalayan Alps, so it has the right spectrum that lets out the perfect spectrum of light, so the better the product gets better. Like this genius marketing for people like that. You could make anything with that. You could make anything. Wow. But he looks great. I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
I wish I looked like him now. So, can't hate on him. Cool. That's the Driven Podcast for this week. Tune in for the next one where, it's going to be the episode with Chase Hughes. It's going to be epic. Subscribe, leave a comment, and submit a topic if you think there's something we could talk about. There's a link below. And sponsor the episode.
Love you.
Bye-bye.